we got to talk about something that also unfortunately occurred over the weekend. We got to talk about the legend, one of the original kings of wrestling, one of the original kings of the ring, Hall of Famer Harley Race, the 8-time NWA champion, unfortunately passed away at the age of 76 over the weekend. Book, I know that you've most likely crossed paths with Harley Race a few times in your career. What did you think when you heard the news about the passing of Harley Race?
I was a young man, actually a young kid, watching Harley when he first got in the, got in the business and, watching his rise, and his coming up, back in the day, NWA. Used to love watching NWA wrestling. It was just real. It was real wrestling, watching those guys in Harley Race. I can honestly tell you they did not come any realer than Harley Race. People talk about Harley Race's toughness, and how, no one really, wanted to mix it up with Harley Race. Those are the stories you hear about Harley more than anything. But for me, I remember, looking up to Harley and saying, man, how great Harley was in the ring as a general. But then I remember those times when myself, Nick Patrick, Brian Hildebrand, and a whole host of the boys, when we came through Kansas City, we had to stop through Harley's place. And we would go to Harley's house. And Harley's wife would make a spread so big, man, so big, it was more food than, 100 wrestlers could eat, it seemed like anyway. And his heart was, just as big as his hands. That it really was. That's what kind of person Harley was, man. He was a teddy bear behind the scenes, and that's what I remember from Harley. All of those trips, through Kansas City, all of those times, we had to stop. All of those times we ate, and all.
Did you ever have any of the
times
chili? I've always heard that Harley Race had the famous chili. Did you ever get any of the chili?
Nah,
okay.
We didn't. He wasn't doing the cooking.
Okay,
his wife was doing all. I don't know what was in that chili, but I know his wife, man. She always made a huge spread, man, and they always took care of us more than anything.
Obviously Harley Race came up in the 70s. Is really when he hit his stride as the NWA champion, early 80s. But I remember, I think this is kind of, to me, my introduction to Harley Race actually is a great one because it shows the kind of person that he was and how much he loved the business. I remember when Randy Orton wasn't Randy Orton yet. He was still coming up. He was still a guy working middle of the card, and he just started doing that legend killer, gimmick, right? He just started doing it. And one of the first guys, one of the first legends that he got to go after was Harley Race. And I remember he spat in the face of Harley Race when Harley was sitting at ringside, and they did this tussle, but Randy kind of got the better of him. And I just think for Harley Race even at that age, where he was in his 60s at the time, to realize, hey, this guy is the next guy coming up. What can I do to help the next generation? What can I do? And then Harley Race went on to still put on seminars. I know the reality wrestling champion, Ryan Davidson, went and got to sit under the learning tree of Harley Race for a little while. He did a little, I think, a weekend camp or a week camp with him. It just shows the kind of guy that he was, and I think that he loved the wrestling business and he wanted to give back. Would you think that's a fair assessment, Book?
Yeah, man, Harley, he never really wanted to lead a business, you know what I mean? But it comes a time where all of us have to pretty much take a step back. But Harley's the type of guy that he would have wrestled all the way up to, his last day, if he could have, and that's just the type of guy Harley was. He was true, he's a true warrior, true legend to the game, and you can only love him for that. But I think the assessment would be, spot on. Harley was a real man's man. And the thing is, we're going to miss him, man. We're going to miss him. We're going to miss him a whole lot. But the one thing about all of us, and if there is a God, we are all immortalized forever. And Harley Race is truly immortalized forever. So we'll see him again.